Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, June 15th through 17th, join the Legion of Celebrities, comic book stars, animators, voice actors, and costume heroes for Denver Comic Con at Colorado Convention Center. Hundreds of dealers and artists, gaming, exciting events. Meet Glenn, Maggie, and Carl from Walking Dead, Will Wheaton, stars from Marvel and DC Comics, Star Wars, Dark Knight Rises, True Blood, Futurama, Fringe, and more. Hotel packages available. Proceeds benefit Comic Book Classroom and after-school literacy and arts program. Proceeds benefit Comic Book Classroom and after-school literacy and arts program. Be a hero this Father's Day and get tickets at DenverComicCon.com.
In Colorado, there is only one place that has the best selection of collectibles: Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics.
For over 27 years, Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics has been the ultimate destination for collectors.
They have a wide selection of hard-to-find coins, action figures, role-playing cards. You can go over there and get yourself a copy of Dominion and sports memorabilia.
Hey, Peyton Manning's a Bronco. I was there yesterday. They have a signed Peyton Manning jersey.
And, of course, they've got comics, which is what I go there for.
All their back issues are half off. On Saturday, all dollar issues are only 50 cents.
And if you sign up for a hold slot, you'll get 20% off graphic novels and comics.
So stop by 6700 Wadsworth Boulevard in Arvada, Colorado, and tell them the Real Nerd sent you. Hey everybody, Ryan from Real Nerds here. I'm here with my good friend Joe of Birdman Barbecue. Joe, why don't you give us a little bit of history of Birdman Barbecue?
Well, actually, it's a family recipe been passed down for generations. My wife's dad has it now, and we're just now starting to bottle it up. We've got two different flavors, original and spicy, so if you want a nice kick to the back of your throat, try that spicy. And now we've also got a rub, too. So,
you know, Joe, I have to be honest. I love the spicy barbecue, and if you put your rub on burgers with a spicy barbecue, off the chain.
I'm glad that you're being honest, Ryan, because that's what we like, is off the chain.
You know,
Thank you for trying that.
I'm so glad that you like that I said off the chain, because what's even more off the chain is you guys go around Colorado and other places, and you actually enter in contests for your barbecue sauce if you won anything.
Yeah, I mean, we've entered our sauce in quite a few contests, and actually we got second place in the Frisco barbecue competition. So for our sauce, just the sauce, that's pretty cool. We've also won, different categories for side items and different things like that. But the sauce winning was the crowning achievement.
And you know what's so cool about being in Colorado is I can go to places around town to pick up the sauce. Where can I get?
Yeah, go to your local area Ace Hardware stores. Check out Ruff's Barbecue in Golden. And then check out your local festivals, Frisco, Dillon. We're hitting up all those this year. So.
And also, I know too, you also run contests on your Facebook page. If you get a certain amount of likes, you always do a free drawing for a free bottle of barbecue sauce. Where can we find you on Facebook?
Absolutely. It's birdmanbbq.com, or on Facebook, I guess it's just Birdman BBQ on Facebook. Check it out. Every 100 likes that we get, we enter everybody that likes us into a drawing for a bucket of barbecue, which is a bottle of each sauce and one of our rubs. So
awesome. So, yeah, make sure you like Birdman Barbecue. Check out Joe when he's doing little things around town with Frisco and winning competitions. You know what the barbecue sauce is? Delicious. Welcome to Real Nerds. Today is our 1-year anniversary. We're a year older, probably not wiser, but our show is getting way better. Have you guys ever tried to listen to the first show?
No, I keep meaning to.
Yeah, I did.
Me too.
I didn't get through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Brad was a robot?
Yep.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
Oh, good times.
Good times, but now we're a lot smarter.
All right, let's hope so.
Because we do box office numbers, DVD releases, news, comics, what we watched, and we also review a hit movie, sometimes, of the week. And this week, we saw Snow White and the Huntsman with the beautiful Chris Hemsworth. Laura, my wife Laura is sitting next to me. Laura, tell our loyal listeners how great Chris Hemsworth is.
The man is an Adonis.
And that's what I look like. So, you guys can't see what I look like.
He looks exactly like
I
Chris
look
Hemsworth.
exactly like Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah. With like Liam Hemsworth's nose, which might be an improvement. I'm not sure.
Yeah, who knows? You know what? They're both really great-looking guys.
I think genetically they might have the same nose. So
they do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't.
All I know is he's awesome as Thor.
Yeah. Either way, though, 52 episodes we've done this.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome.
That's pretty crazy.
Actually, more than 52 because there is 4 real gamers sprinkled in there, and I have done 3 commentaries that you can listen to. You know, I have Freddy vs. Jason, House of the Dead, and what's the other one I did? I don't remember.
Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead with Brad, which is a really good one. That one is actually really good.
Yeah.
And it's good timing because there's a whole lot of announcements this week about cool stuff we've got coming up and things we're changing on the podcast. It seems like a 1-year anniversary for sure.
It is how far we've grown.
So we're starting a new season.
It is the new season. This is the better season. This
Or
is
in comic book lingo, Volume 2.
Volume 2.
Ah.
Yes. So anyways, we actually got 3 emails this week, and normally I do box office numbers first, but I'm going to go into emails. Is that okay, guys? Because
No.
it gives people a chance to
Why would you ask the guys who
listen to us.
screwed up the order of things last week when you weren't here?
Let me get these emails. Oh, wait.
Open up those envelopes, Ryan.
Yeah. Shh. All right. The first email says, this is from our friend Russell, who listens to the show a lot, who actually, how many episodes? Brad drove to Washington, D.C. with Russell. Did you guys listen to a lot on your road trip?
I showed him 2 episodes.
2 episodes? You're in the car for fucking like 24 hours.
I have nothing to say about that.
They re-listened
I have no
to a lot
excuse.
of episodes.
No good excuse. I'm sorry.
Unbelievable. Anyways, this is from Russell. He is Asian, so he talks like... I'm just kidding.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Stokes the fire. Here we go.
Yeah.
This is gonna
Anyways,
be intense.
it's so Russell writes Brad, James, and Ryan in parentheses in order most likely to install robotic parts into their bodies.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what the first one says?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Oh.
You guys should set up Google Voice account and let people leave voicemails.
Hey, that's a good
That
idea.
way we can leave our expletive-laced responses to the movie reviews. In other news, it's time to go get some shawarma. Thanks, Russell. Hey, Russell, good news. You can now call in to Real Nerds. Our number here is 720-663-7375 or 720-6NERDS5. Brad tried really hard to get nerds worked in there, and that's the best way he could do it.
There weren't a lot of options.
So, yes, please leave your voicemail, and you'll be heard on the air. Brad, you have a way to copy that, and I guess you do. What am I talking about? You can edit it in.
Yeah, take people's calls, and we won't just read or repeat what you said. We'll actually put your recording on our show.
Yeah.
Exactly, so you can
So-
hear it, and then we'll respond to it, whatever you say.
Now you have no excuses not to contact us. You can
Yeah.
email us, you can Twitter us, you can Facebook us, and you can call us. It's the easiest
Hey,
thing to do.
you know what's also cool, Brad? I know you know. James, do you know? That now you can go to realnerdspodcast.com to go to
we
our
have
website.
a new website address.
Yay! You can also tweet us at real_nerds. You can email us directly at realnerds@gmail.com. Of course, like us on Facebook. But yeah, so we have a really easy email address, realnerdspodcast.com. Really easy. If you're listening to us, you already know we're the Real Nerds. REEL. Remember that, guys. Remember. So we got a couple more from Russell. This is the first one he sent. This actually came last week. I was up in Wyoming
Yeah.
opening up a restaurant.
But we didn't want to talk about it without you.
Yeah, so it would have been okay if you guys did.
This requires your attention.
I know, because right away he says, Dear Brad, James, and Ryan, in order of ability to self-fillet, meaning I have a small dick, so thanks, Russell, I appreciate that.
I think he really wants to have sex with us.
Probably.
And in weird fetish ways.
I know, it's bizarre. He said, I've been following Real Nerds podcast for a while now, and I figured I would provide some comments. While I enjoy audio anal rumpus, as any straight man would, right away he's going to anal, so I don't know how straight he could possibly
This
be.
is getting weird, and it's getting weird fast.
I like it.
Of course, well,
Yeah, you
so
would.
maybe the self-fillet Brad's the first one. Maybe he wants you to fillet him. On a sunny
Whoa.
drive across the country.
To take me to dinner first.
Really, I wouldn't need, I mean, not to suck somebody's dick, but if you want me to fuck you, man, all you have to do is show up at my house.
You already bought me dinner
He is
tonight.
at your house now, Ryan. You can't say that.
That's true. I was thinking the format could use a little more structure. The beginning segment of Real News is like watching two grown men whip it out and compare. It's about girth, guys.
Is it?
Hey, we can ask.
No, I mean the
let's
show.
ask-
I don't mean is it
Let's
about
ask my
girth.
wife, honey, is size important and is girth important?
Not mentioning penis 5 times in an email is more important than size or girth.
Burn. Straight from a woman's mouth.
Oh, good.
That was the slowest burn ever.
That's so bad.
There was just too many places to go on that one, so my brain overloaded.
A little more meat action and less tangential
Tangential.
Tangential, thank you. Commentary would help me get focused on the news being delivered. James, the news is your big part. What do you think of that?
I think it's bullshit. I've listened to I love me some good podcasts, and the ones I love most are the ones that are the most tangential. I don't. If
for the idiot
listening,
people listening, what does the word mean?
Tangential, bunny trails. You know what a bunny trail is?
Yeah, okay.
You know, you go off on a tangent.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because here's the thing: anybody can listen to this podcast and hear us talk about movies and be like, "Oh yeah, 3 dudes I don't know said this movie wasn't very good." That's a problem. What we need is people to listen to this podcast and listen to our banter and listen to what we say about news and things like that, or if we talk about some weird thing that happened to us on the way here, and then they get to know us, and then they get to be our friends, even though they don't actually, like, you know, they don't know us in real life, but they know who we are and what we actually think, so that then when they get
it's a more
reviews,
personal experience.
Yeah, exactly. It actually is important to the show. I mean, I have podcasts I listen to that I'm not actually going to buy any of the games they talk about. I just like listening to those guys talk about them.
You know, I think we're entertaining too. And I'll go to the next one. You know, like any good entertainment, porn, sometimes less foreplay and more money shot is worthwhile. I noticed that if the news were more focused on few big topics for the week, it would be easier to transition to the next segment.
Here's the thing. If that's the way he wants this to be, how about this? We will put a little timestamp on the blog post,
Brad,
so that all he has to do, he listens to the beginning, hears what we're talking about, and then he can just skip right to the climax. How about that? Because that's all he's doing in the porn anyway.
So here we go, actually, in the next part. Speak of the next segment, parentheses, segments. Is it possible to limit each segment to a more consistent time frame and organize a show segments into consistent pattern? It's about setting up audience, expectations. If I know I'm going to get some in-depth analysis on a hit movie of the week at the 40-minute mark or in around there, it would be easy for me to navigate to that point of the podcast. You know, organize a show like a good sex scene in a vivid movie. You get 5 minutes of setup, pizza delivery man, 10 minutes of news, oral, etc. I'll actually answer that one.
He understands that porn is poorly told stories, right? Like they're not the pinnacle of storytelling that, like, yes, 5 minutes of introduction is a good way to entertain people. No.
It's just a joke, James.
Yeah, I'll intervene here. The reason, because I mean, he does bring up some points, and the reason I don't do a structure because I think it's boring.
Yeah,
I don't want to. If Brad's talking about Canadian RoboCop, I don't want to say, your 10 minutes are up, Brad. Okay, time to move on. I think people are more fun when it's spontaneous.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're not the only person to say that, Russell. So I don't take too much offense to it. But I'll tell you, I'll never do it. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, keep up the good work. There will be more to comments and feedback to come, Russell.
Oh, good. I really hope he has better puns in the future.
James took that really personally. I took it personally because he said I had a small dick. But you're Asian, Russell, so we should whip it out and compare.
Oh! I can't be friends with you anymore.
Why? I can make fun of Asian people.
We need to put a mic over there so people can hear the paper land.
I'm just kidding. Russell knows I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know who Russell is, but he can go fuck himself.
Wow.
Wow. James just...
We finally get someone generous enough to write in and give us some comments and you tear him apart?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you can look forward to that if you leave a voicemail.
Leave a voicemail, and then we will tell you to go fuck yourselves.
He'll rip your anus apart. And this is actually, he's harkened back to the Star Wars episode, and I like this email because he agrees.
I want to hear.
Because he agrees with me. In your first February show, you guys talked in depth about Star Wars Episode 1. Brad and James defended the movie as the best of the prequels, and Ryan said it was the worst. While I agree with Ryan, and we all agree that the addition of Gungans, along with the overall lack of moving story in the first episode, the movie did have some bright spots that were impressive, maybe more impressive than the other prequels. Agreed. However, the overall arc of the Star Wars franchise was supposed to be about balance in the Force, and the balance was Anakin. I always felt that while the original series used Luke, Leia, Han, Chewbacca, and droids as carriers of the story, the real story was about the redemption of Anakin as a man, father, and Jedi. Looking at the original series and its arc, you can see that the actions of the main characters ultimately reflected upon Anakin, and that Lucas at the time of making the original series used visual tropes to show how Anakin changed over the course of the movies. Furthermore, one of the key elements of the original series was dropped from the prequels. Each of the original movies featured a sacrifice by one of the main characters, showing that ultimately achieving good comes at a price. Obi-Wan Kenobi gave his life so that Luke, Han, etc. could escape from the Death Star. At Empire, Han sacrificed himself so Leia would survive. Of course, Anakin found redemption in the end, sacrificing himself for his son.
That's a good point.
No, it really is. I do.
I didn't notice that until he said it, but yeah, the prequels don't have any of that.
Yeah, I agree. Because
Qui-Gon doesn't die because he lets his guard down. He just gets beaten by Darth Maul.
Yeah.
And then Attack of the Clones, who
Well,
I don't remember anyone
No.
giving their life in that one.
The
And then-
sacrifice was Yoda had to finally bust out.
well,
Jedi.
Jango Fett dies.
He does.
sacrifices himself for Mace Windu to be cool.
And then Revenge of the Sith, Leia dies, or sorry, Padme dies, but
Of a broken heart.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
like it's not.
Ooh,
She can give herself up. She has complications of childbirth. So
Ooh, bah.
Yeah. I actually agree with everything Russell said. That's how I always felt about the Star Wars after I saw the prequels. It's not really about, Luke and Leia. It is about Anakin. It's about his rise and fall from grace and his redemption. But, the one thing that's always thought was funny is about bringing balance to the Force. But if you get rid of all the bad, how's that bring balance to the Force?
Yeah, it's actually quite the opposite.
Yeah, but I get. But I agree with Russell on it. I mean, it's because he agrees with me is really why I agree with him.
no surprise there.
Well, that was fun, Russell. Write in again,
Yeah.
do.
But
Really
he
do.
actually has some other things to say.
Oh,
about it.
shoot.
He says, "Here's another tie-in. After watching the Avengers today, it seemed that Agent Coulson's death, spoilers, and sacrifice was
You
critical.
can't say spoilers after you say it. Now, but
Everyone in
no.
the world's seen it already.
Yeah, seriously, if
was
you
a
haven't seen that
critical
movie, what's wrong with
incident
you?
that brought the Avengers together. While this is a story trope used in many movies, it is based in reality. Its base in reality is what creates the connection between the audience and the characters in the story. Episode one of the three prequels was the one that was lacking in creating this connection. So yeah, Star Wars rocks, and Episode 1 was the worst of the prequels.
Wait,
Cheers.
how does Episode 1 lack in creating connection?
Because
Wait, I don't. Who is Agent Coulson in the prequels?
no, he's talking about that the Avengers. Did you even listen to what I just read?
He didn't.
No, he's talking about that Agent Coulson's death brought the Avengers together,
Yeah.
and there was nothing that brought the prequels together.
Oh, okay.
Episode 1, like the people that rallied him, even though, like Brad said, Qui-Gon lost, but it's just because he was overmatched. It wasn't that he was sacrificing
Yeah,
himself.
Obi-Wan.
Oh,
backed
okay.
off,
I see
and
what you're
Darth
saying.
Vader
I
killed
thought you
him,
were
but-
saying that like there was something like that in 2 and 3, but not in 1, and that's
No,
why
no.
1 was
That-
bad.
No, you're saying
Okay.
Episode 1 is the worst, and I agree. So thanks, Russell, for writing in, taking time, because your
They're very long emails.
yeah,
I
your
will
Star
say
Wars
that
one
for
is
him.
very well thought out, and
Yeah.
it's exactly how I feel about it. So make sure you email us, realnerds@gmail.com. You can also leave us a voicemail, like I said earlier, 720-663-7375. Now we'll get into what we usually do.
It's real news.
Hey guys, you know what movie was number 1 at the box office last week?
No.
Men in Black 3,
Oh,
$69
really?
million.
Wow, broke the Avengers streak.
Yeah, not surprisingly, but Avengers still did $56 million.
Yeah.
So and
And it's still the way better movie.
it is. But what you don't have, we didn't put in here is over the weekend, Avengers moved past The Dark Knight to be the number 3 movie of all time.
Really? I
And
didn't see
internationally, it went number 3 as
number
well.
3 grossing movie. I don't
Yeah,
know.
grossing.
Like people say just like all time. Like what frame of reference is that?
that. It is the number
the
3 of all time.
Of all time,
I accidentally the whole thing.
at $558 million now, I think. Wow! So it should close around $600 million. It has no chance of catching Avatar and Titanic, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
Can't at least it can't get to Titanic's. Can't get like 601. You don't think?
no, Titanic is at 600 and
Oh, because of the 3D
re-release. Yeah, it's
bullshit.
like
Yeah.
650.
Which
something.
really shouldn't count.
It shouldn't.
Like when they do that shit, it should not add back into the.
But oh well. Thanks, Box Office Mojo, for your amazing stats.
Absolutely.
As usual, next week on Blu-ray, I'm not going to say DVD anymore. On
Yeah, who
Blu-ray next week, John Carter, which is a great
yes.
movie. You guys should go see it.
Yeah, I mean a pre-order then.
And I actually read
I
an
disagree.
interesting article about
About
the original
about why
opening and
people
how
hate
it was really good.
Oh yeah, there were 2 articles this week. There was one about like this guy arguing that the reason why critics hated it so much is just that Hollywood hates creative people, which I don't entirely agree with. But he had some interesting points. But yeah, did you watch that different opening scene?
I didn't. I don't like. I'm weird. I don't like seeing scenes on the internet. I wait for them. Like I have not seen any Spider-Man, like the extended trailers.
Well, that's different because you
stuff.
haven't seen the movie.
Yeah,
but this will be on the DVD.
Yeah,
I believe it is.
Yeah, it is.
And
I'm going to get it.
It's actually really interesting. You remember that scene where she's got like a device that she's building, and they come in, and you don't really know what's going on, and it breaks or something. And it's really kind of corny. Mm-hmm. It's actually that scene, but much longer and has some depth, and it's a much more interesting way to get into that world right away. They abandoned it because they were afraid that people wouldn't quite know what was going on, It was that sort of old people syndrome where they were going to be sitting in the theater going, who is that guy? I don't know. The movie just started. Maybe you should give it 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's one of the things I always hated when people think you need to dumb down movies for people to get it. And that's why movies like X-Men and stuff really broke that, where you don't need to break it down. Like in X2, you don't need to explain that Nightcrawler can teleport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just does it. I mean, what's the point of...
Well, and it's interesting because you remember all that Ninth Ray stuff that's in the movie that makes no sense now? In that scene, there is some dialogue that sort of at least sets it up so you kind of understand, cool. This is the next stage of technology, and this is why it's important. You don't know how it works because it's fantasy sci-fi, so it doesn't need to work. But
I'm excited. I actually like the movie, and I will be getting it.
I'm kind of disappointed the CG's not complete. Otherwise, I'd like to see a version with that actually in it. But anyway.
Also, Act of Valor comes out.
Oh, wow, that was quick.
Yeah, quick turnaround there.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad Season 4 is available.
That was very slow. But yeah, absolutely.
Safe House is available.
No house is safe.
It isn't. Burn Notice Season 5.
Safe House is like the third highest grossing picture this year.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like
third or fourth.
I wonder if it's still in theaters. Maybe I can use my free ticket.
No, it's not.
Well... Then Redbox it is.
Journey to the Center of the Earth or Mysterious Island. Which one is it?
Journey to Mysterious Island. Yeah, The Rock one.
Curb Your Enthusiasm Season 8. Wow, there's a lot coming out this week.
Oh, wow.
Falling Skies Season 1, which I never saw but looked interesting.
It's not great.
Machine Gun Preacher, which is Guy Pearce, I believe. No, Gerard Butler.
Yeah, it's Gerard Butler. I wanted to see that.
Yellow Submarine.
Probably just a Blu-ray release, yeah.
Yep, and Badass. What's Badass, Brad?
It's a Danny Trejo. I thought it was going to be in theaters, but it's... I don't know much about it. He's just like carrying a stick on the cover, and I think
being Danny Trejo.
I think it's in the vein of Machete or something, but more realistic. I think so. I don't know, or Walking Tall.
It's probably
Cool.
That's about what it sounds like.
Thanks, Digital Bits.
Sorry, I'm sick.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
Hey, you know what I forgot to say at the beginning of this? Let's get some real news.
Well, you have been gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it's forgiven.
I'm a little rusty.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's
only our 1-year anniversary show. You just fucked up.
No.
No.
You also forgot to introduce us individually.
I did.
That's okay. Everybody knows who I am.
I'm Ryan. That's James, and Brad is the one who's spreading the zombie plague across America.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to sit by him.
So, James, you got some news for me this week?
Yeah, we got some interesting stuff. We're going to start off with something we actually talked about last week, but changed a little this week.
It did.
So that maybe, I can get your ideas about it, but we can also talk about what they're talking about now. Basically, last week we talked about the fact that they're postponing G.I. Joe Retaliation by 9 months. Mm-hmm. They've already been doing trailers and all this stuff and getting, some good hype. Not the best... reviews as far as people who have seen the movie, but some good hype, I think. I was excited to see that movie. But they postponed it so that they could turn it into they could do a 3D conversion. This week there was some news saying that a lot of the pickups they're doing involve Channing Tatum. I think this was kind of clear from the trailer, but maybe it's not. Either way, spoilers for a movie that's not out yet and is probably going to get re-edited, but in the original script, Channing Tatum dies in the first act.
I think a lot of the Joes do, because there's that scene, actually, I think it's like the third or fourth trailer, the one I just saw, where it's literally The Rock, Bruce Willis, and somebody else talking, and he said that we're all that's left.
Yeah, and
so
he's clearly not there. He's not in the trailers much, but basically because of how popular he's getting this year, they think that they should re-edit the movie so that one of two things, either so that he can be in it more, or so that he can be alive so they could put him in another sequel. It's kind of crazy. It's unfortunate that they didn't just make a better script in the first place, because that sounds like that's the biggest problem. People aren't really loving the movie when they see it, but it's maybe it'll be a good thing. I was pretty mad when they did it last week.
No, I think it's ridiculous. To me, though, too, I think, because I wasn't here last week thinking about it, I mean, if it released on June 29th, I don't think it would have made any money.
This is true.
Because, one, you have all these big movies coming out, and then Spider-Man comes out 4 days later.
Yeah.
And it just would have got lost.
It's a pretty gargantuan summer to have a middling movie come out.
Yeah, and especially just getting sandwiched in between all this stuff. And I think people, even towards the end of June, I'm, maybe people will be burned out from that stuff from, Avengers and things like that. So, yeah. I'm surprised that they moved it back so far. I thought maybe they'd move it to September.
Yeah. Well, but if
something like
they did that CG conversion would just be shit.
Oh yeah, I mean
they shouldn't do it.
No, they shouldn't.
If they want to go and do if they want to push it back to September and do pickups and change the movie a little, make it better, yeah, and give it a September release so it does better at the box office. That sounds great.
Yeah.
You tell me that, and I'm totally there. I will forgive you all your bullshit. You tell me that you're postponing it 9 months so you can make it 3D. Because you want $3 extra out of me? No, that's just dumb.
And I thought you brought a good point that it's so bad that they want that extra $3 because people aren't going to go back and see it again.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it probably costs $20 million more to convert it.
Probably.
It's not going to be cheap.
No.
And to do the pickups.
If they do a good job, yeah.
With allegedly Channing Tatum, I mean, you're going to have to pay him, I'm guessing, to come back and do
it.
Oh, yeah. So
we'll see. We'll have to watch the movie. And it's a shame because I did really want to see that. I don't remember what comes out. Oh, no, Ted moved up to its spot.
I don't think so because we were looking at... Oh, no, Ted is June 29th now.
Yeah. You guys are old. Did you ever watch Fraggle Rock?
No.
Oh, okay. Did
you? A little bit, yeah.
Yeah? I feel like I sort of missed it, especially... it was just sort of before my time. I read some of I had a musical book or something like that. Either way, the people who made Rango are going to make the writers of Rango are going to make a movie, and they're thinking it's going to be CG instead of puppets. Which would be interesting.
Yeah.
It's not a bad way to do it. If you were going to do a movie like that, I feel like the
Muppets worked and it wasn't CG, so I don't
know.
But I guess the only thing is Fraggle Rock isn't as loved as the Muppets. I mean, people know of it, but
it's very much a cult thing. There's a certain group of people in our generation who really loved that. It's people because it was on HBO, wasn't it? Wasn't that the deal? I thought it was something special. It wasn't? It was just on Disney? Oh, okay. That was Laura saying that it was on Disney. I thought there was something special so that not everybody saw it or something like that, but I guess not. Still, I don't know. I'm not crazy about it, but anything the guys who did Rango do, I will see.
Yeah. I mean, I watched that on streaming when I was in Wyoming. I won't talk about it because I have so much other stuff that I watched, but it was a good movie. You're right. I don't think it was in my top 10 from last year, but
yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah. Did you guys read the plot summary for Bindlestiffs, that movie that Kevin Smith is releasing? Basically, back when he did Red State, he said what he's going to start doing was Smodcast Pictures was going to it would pick up a movie that no one else was willing to pick up and tour it around the country the way that he did with Red State, and he would go with it and do an interview with the directors and the writers and such on stage afterwards. So tickets would still be $50, but you're not really getting a Kevin Smith show. You're getting, he'll be there, but it won't be just him answering. It won't be his normal Q&A. But basically, the first movie they're doing is a movie called Bindlestiffs, which basically you read the plot and it seems like a fairly, I don't want to say, sort of an overwrought sex comedy. The plot is something like, 3 virgins go into the something, and then by that point I've stopped listening because I'm just like this. I feel like I've seen this before. The cover is slightly intriguing, but I'll have to wait till the trailer comes out.
Isn't there some aspect of it where the people who've been making the movie have been doing it over a course of 5 or 6 years? So you're actually they actually have footage of them as junior high kids.
Oh wow!
And then they grow up as the movie goes on because it took so long to make.
Oh, I hadn't seen anything about that. That sounds fascinating, though.
Maybe it's something else I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that actually sounds really cool. Like the kids remake of Raiders of the Lost Ark that they did back in the 90s is like that. Where there's a bunch of kids just making Raiders of the Lost Ark in their backyard.
People versus George Lucas.
Oh, did they show parts of it?
Yeah.
It's really hard to get a hold of, I believe. I think they still haven't done a DVD release. I want to see that.
Who said it was? I think in that movie, as Francis Ford Coppola said, it was the greatest fan film that has ever been made.
Or
something like that. I don't know. It might not have been him. It was some celebrity guy though.
There's something in the plot about the kids, like they go out into the country to relive Catcher in the Rye, a book that they neither understand nor have actually read. That just confuses me more than actually intrigues me. But I'm really interested to see how it does, because he's doing something really interesting here, dragging this movie around the country that nobody actually cares about. And maybe it's going to be great. Maybe it's a movie that really needs to be out there. But $50 for a ticket is a pretty high price to pay. Like, are only Kevin Smith fans going to show up?
Yeah, I think if it's not a straight up View Askew Smodcast like evening, you should probably charge less for it.
Yeah, I agree.
Which that is less. I mean, we paid $80 for our tickets.
Yeah.
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 So we'll see. I mean, if he comes to town, I'll still probably go see it. I'm not gonna lie.
Probably.
That's probably true. Now that you bring it up, I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't see that. He's not right
but
now.
What if
It's
the movie
on
sucks and you have
schedule.
to, do a Q&A and people are pissed off at the movie? And
I'm sure
Yeah.
if the audience reaction is not quite, because Smith sits in the back and tweets during everything. So maybe if he feels like the audience isn't warming up to it, he might decide to do an extra Q&A at the end or something with just him or most recent Smodcast stories or something. I don't know.
And the truth is,
it could always be a live change up like that.
yeah. And the truth is, like, even if you don't like the movies he makes, you listen to him talk about movies, and he's not completely stupid. Like, I disagree with him sometimes, but I doubt that he is dragging some shit movie around the country. Like, that's not a smart thing for him to do. So it's probably pretty good, or at least fairly interesting. So if they do come to Denver, right now they're not scheduled to, but now you got me excited. Now I want to go see that movie. That's funny. Kevin Feige this week talked about Thor 2 and said there's going to be a new villain who will not be Thanos, but nobody knows who.
in Thor 2?
In Thor 2.
Yeah. There's a lot of speculation that's the Enchantress.
That sounds like a horrible villain.
She's really awesome, actually.
Really? Because
Yes.
I know nothing about Thor villains. Have you ever actually read Thor?
I have not, but I do have Marvel encyclopedias.
Yeah.
And I read about them. And after I heard that as the Enchantress, I went back and I read about her, and it's very interesting.
Huh. What does she do?
She is she's a sorceress, but she's also like Loki and Thor, so she's immortal, and super
okay.
strong, and
Huh.
but she uses her sexuality to entice men to do her bidding and things like that. So it's interesting.
Do you think it would be too much like Loki?
No, because
that a risk?
to me, actually, I think Loki, even though he's a bad guy, I don't believe that he is an ultimate bad guy.
Yeah. He is still Thor's brother, and I mean,
Yeah.
they've already said that the next movie is going to involve Thor and Loki kind of getting back together and having to work together to fight some evil.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I would kind of expect that it would be more like that they would take a villain out of Guardians of the Galaxy and throw it in here.
Yeah, maybe.
So that maybe it's not necessarily considered one of the big Thor
It'd be
villains,
awesome
but
if
it's a
it was
Marvel
awesome
villain.
droid.
Yeah, there's a villain
Yes.
called Awesome Droid,
And it's this big block villain that android that can morph into things.
so it's a transformer, but it only turns into, instead of a car, it turns into a block.
I've never read a comic with him, but I just read his profile
Right,
and
yeah.
what he looked like.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Thor 2 seems like a good place for them to start sowing the seeds for that Guardians of the Galaxy movie, because it is the best, cosmic movie that
Agreed.
they have. But, and then just one last little bit is that Ridley Scott really wants Harrison Ford to be in his Blade sequel. He wouldn't be a main
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. Yeah, no,
Can't say Blade.
He really
He
wants.
fights Wesley Snipes.
Oh man,
He's Dracula.
pay your goddamn taxes. That's the whole movie. Only he.
That's
only,
Wesley Snipes' joke.
only he would mumble more than that. Pay your goddamn taxes. So yeah, his Blade Runner sequel. It would be like a little cameo, pretty much. Maybe a little more than that, because the main character is a female lady. Is a lady woman, but still pretty exciting. I really want to see that movie, and I want to see Harrison Ford in something good.
Yep.
So bad.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I just want to add something really quick. Me and Brad were watching the MTV Movie Awards before you come up, and usually...
That's a thing still?
Yeah, usually it's really, whatever, because Twilight won Movie of the Year. Just so you know.
Yeah.
But,
wait, this year?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But there was a great moment, and just because it made me happy, Emma Stone won the first annual Trailblazer Award, And she went up there and gave the sweetest speech, and she was crying, and it was amazing.
And she basically said, thank you for giving me this award, but she kind of hinted that she doesn't quite believe in it.
Yeah, that she's not a trailblazer. She thought, real trailblazers are Gilda Radner, Charlie Chaplin, and people like that. And it was
And while she looks up to them, she doesn't actually follow them in her own career because she wants to stay unique and different.
Yeah, and she told everybody that what makes you unique and what makes you a trailblazer is being yourself.
Yeah.
How fucking amazing is Emma Stone? I love her.
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
too cool.
Yeah.
Are you sure going to make me YouTube the MTV Awards, aren't you?
YouTube her speech because it's
Oh
amazing.
wow.
Well, you should also YouTube it to see the awesome Dark Knight footage we
Oh
saw.
yeah.
Oh, was there
Dude,
some
yeah.
new footage?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
a
how
lot
cool
of new stuff.
How cool is Christopher Nolan? Like he's just walking out in this 3-piece suit, and he's talking about how great the Bruce Wayne story is, and that he hopes that he delivered a fantastic ending that everybody deserves.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, they AMC sort of spoiled this week, or not spoiled, but leaked this week that the runtime is 2 hours and 45 minutes, which makes me no longer afraid that movie has too much stuff in it.
It's awesome.
2 hours and 45 minutes. You
Well, based
can
on the
pretty much
footage I
tell
saw,
any story
like
you
it has
want.
to be 3 hours because it's like an
Yeah.
epic.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I am gonna have to pee in the middle of that movie.
And what makes those guys so clever when they do it is they only give you like little flashes of what's happening in the movie, so it leaves to
Right.
speculation and what's really going on. And
Well, and because you're not getting long shots, like this has always been my problem. The reason I don't watch every trailer, like why I haven't been watching Prometheus trailers or David Fincher trailers, is that if I see a long clip from a shot and it's a cool shot, I will remember that shot, and it will be less thrilling when I see it in the movie. When they do just tiny little quick clips, and you just think like, oh, what did I even see just there? I forget it by the time the trailer is over. It's the way to do a badass trailer like that.
Yeah, this one had a ton of little ones, so
Yeah.
I remember it being cool, but I can't really.
yeah, I can't.
remember
Piece
it.
it. The one I
Like
remember.
I know
the,
Bane catches Batman's fist and says like, "Let the games begin," and
yeah,
Catwoman
is tied
distracts
to
some guy, and then
something,
Batman's behind that guy. Oh,
Yeah, it's awesome.
I probably won't watch it. I will probably just wait. But that sounds really cool, and it makes me excited for that movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Every time I see something new for that movie.
can we fast forward to July?
Yeah.
please?
Well,
No.
what I was telling Brad is, the first Spider-Man trailer I was really apprehensive, and then same with The Dark Knight. I was like, what the fuck is this thing? But then they started releasing a little more, and I start getting a little more excited, and I think they're both going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Literally.
But no, we can't fast forward to July because my most anticipated movie is between now and then.
Yes,
so
it is.
you're just going to have to wait, sir.
That's right. Madagascar 3, James's most favorite movie this year.
James, I hate to disappoint you, but I was on Rotten Tomatoes today,
Yeah?
and Prometheus tomato meter is lower than Madagascar 3.
Is it really?
It is. I'm
Oh.
not joking.
I don't give a shit. That movie's going to be great.
It should be.
Actually, I think it has the potential to be the most surprising movie from this year.
I think so.
I think
yeah.
if it goes the way I think it will, I will be very impressed.
You mean as far as performance or just quality?
Yeah, like just plot, like ideas.
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
I thought you meant like that it was going to be, some huge blockbuster because everybody's going to love it. But I really don't expect that.
I don't think it'll be a big. It might make $200 million, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
It's a
guessing
tough sell.
150.
Only because it's a rated R sci-fi movie, and the subject matter is dark, and it'll be hard. But I want it to do well
Yeah.
because then we get more of them.
Oh,
Because the selfish part of me wants to see more movies like that.
I just want Damon Lindelof to work more.
That would be sweet.
Brad, you got any news?
No, I'll keep it short this week.
Cool.
Cool. So in Comic Corner this week, guys, I've been away for 2 weeks doing the comic book part, so I will.
Well, that's too bad because it's James's turn. James, what do you got?
You dick.
Just kidding.
No, I'm really glad because I totally forgot about this segment. So go right ahead.
No, because it'll actually tie into what I've been watching. When I was in Wyoming, I watched a lot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer because there's two little bits of news I will say. So I started watching Buffy, and then it really made me miss the universe of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And the reason I'm starting to watch a lot of Buffy again is I have been penciled in to moderate the panel with James Marsters at Denver Comic Con.
Who's James Marsters?
He plays Spike on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh.
So hopefully that my pencil will become ink and I will be there doing
That is too cool.
panel.
Too cool.
And while I was in Wyoming too, before I left, I went to a comic book auction. and I got this book called Buffy the Vampire Slayer Panel to Panel, and it's all just a bunch of behind-the-scenes kind of comic book art and the covers from the series that Dark Horse did, and it got me really excited, so I went and I got Buffy the Vampire Slayer Tales. After the show ended, Joss Whedon came to Dark Horse Comics and said, hey, I want to do a comic series of Tales of the Slayers, where we just tell maybe 10 pages of Slayers throughout the generation, because once in every generation a Slayer is born. And so basically the stories are written by Joss Whedon and people who wrote for Buffy the Vampire Slayer on TV.
Right.
Paired up with amazing artists. So
is it 2 stories an issue?
2 stories an issue.
Cool.
So I got the trade paperback that also has the deluxe one that also has Tales of the Vampires, which they also did, which is Following the Vampires. So the one that really stood out to me, I've read almost all the Slayer ones, and is the very first one. Well, it's actually the second story in it, but it's written by Joss Whedon, and it's drawn by Tim Sale. If you don't know who Tim Sale is,
wow,
he did like Spider-Man Blue, Daredevil Yellow, Batman Along Halloween. He's a really cool artist.
Yeah,
and the whole thing takes place in the 1600s, and it's about this girl who's a Slayer, but it's told through her watcher, but it's also a poem.
What?
And it's amazing. And because she loves God, and it's about how she's doing it for God, and her watcher is basically a clergyman, a father. And so this town is besieged by vampires, and so she goes and vanquishes them all. She kills them all, and so she thinks she's done good, and then the poem keeps on going. I thought it was the last page when she killed the evil vampire in this book is the Lord. And I say, oh, this is really good. And then I turn the page, and it's still going. And in it, she's asleep in her bed, and they grab her, and they burn her at the stake because they think she's a witch, the Slayer. And the watcher is telling the story that, most people die from smoke inhalation and suffocate, but because she's so strong, she doesn't die, and she screams as she dies. And then the last panel is it says God is good, and then it goes on to but he doesn't live here anymore. And the last panel is the watcher disheveled in like an alley, and in the background there's all these vampires running rampant. Dude, it's brilliant.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It's great, and the other stories in it are really good too. There's a really cool twist in one of them, and you really should pick up because it's written by the writers of the TV show. So they have
who wrote that one particular episode? Was it Joss?
Joss did the poem one.
Okay.
And
that's too cool.
When I'm done reading, I'll let you borrow because
I was just going to say
it's beautiful.
Please do.
It's freaking beautiful. Yeah. And like the art is so good in it, and oh man.
I'll have to check that out. I bet that people listening could pick up a copy of that, or at least order a copy at Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics.
They can. It's only $30, but if you go to Coins, Cards, and Comics, 20% off.
If you have a hold slot.
No, all the graphic novels are 20% off.
Really?
Yeah, you can just go there and pick them
Wow,
up.
what a deal.
It is.
People should go over there and check it out.
It is, and it's hardcover, and it's beautiful, and I haven't got to the end, but there's also 2 stories about vampires that take place in between Season 8. So they're brand new stories that they put just in this book. So if you read it, it's like a prequel to Season 8 of the comic book.
That's really cool. Have you seen the Season 8 hardcover that they did?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous.
I
was at a Mile High this week because I was picking up a few things, and they had the new IDW trade for the Cape, and then right next to it was this giant Season 8 hardcover.
That's awesome.
And it's just gorgeous. I want it so bad.
The one thing that, because you let me borrow Lock and Key and the Dark Horse ones, IDW, Dynamite Entertainment, I don't know why Marvel and DC don't make their graphic novels as cool as them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I have a feeling that they probably don't. Well, they might sell as well. I feel like the people who read a lot of Marvel, it would be interesting to see. The people who read a lot of Marvel, I feel like, would read it in issues.
Maybe
so how
that's
many people
right.
actually
Because,
read trades?
I would love for them to do, like, if you could take any Spider-Man story and then do the the normal stuff, but in the back have the script or what they thought of or what the original ideas were, like they kind of did when I gave you the Craven's Last Hunt.
Oh yeah,
where the introduction by the writer was really
good.
Or
like the real important ones like Spider-Man Blue has that. And,
that's true.
Spider-Man Blue has a pretty great
hardcover.
Absolutely beautiful.
The absolute editions of like Long Halloween and
the
Watchmen
absolutes.
and they do that.
They do it.
They do, but it's not.
But even
expensive.
yeah,
But yeah, but like it seems the independents care more about. I guess because they can sell them better that way.
yeah,
But
and because since they are often shorter runs or limited
guess,
series and
yeah.
things like that. It's stuff that people may not actually read issue to issue. Because if it's 60 issues, people will come in at 30 and things like that. So that does happen.
So yeah, it's called.
But none of them are as beautiful as those IDW
No.
trades. Man,
No.
those
So
are art.
It's called Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's just called Tales, and it has Tales of the Vampires and Tales of the Slayers in it.
Cool.
It's only $30, but with 20% off, you're paying like $23, and it's like 290 pages long.
Wow.
And it's an oversized book, so even the art looks really good. It's a beautiful book, so you should pick it up. That's it
Yeah,
for
that sounds
Comic
good.
Corner this week. So we'll jump right into what we've been watching.
Yeah, let's start with you because you've been gone for a week.
I already kind of spoiled. The major thing I've been watching is I've been familiarizing myself with Buffy the Vampire Slayer and going through because I was in Wyoming and I had nothing else to do because you're in Wyoming. I watched the first and second season in a week, and the thing I because I haven't seen them in so long, rediscovering characters, rediscovering dialogue, rediscovering character moments and cliffhangers and things like that. And now that I'm more mature, even reading them.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, I have my season 3 just sitting out right now, and I still have the ads where it's like pick up season 4 on DVD, June 2003, and you're like, yeah, that's how long I've had these DVD sets, and so to me, going back and rediscovering it was really fun, and I love the Buffy character. I love Sarah Michelle Gellar, and but as now that I'm older, I find myself loving the character of Giles more. I appreciate him more than a long time ago.
Oh, he's fantastic.
I mean, there's just moments where he at the beginning, Buffy's just his slayer, but as the series progresses, he definitely becomes her father.
Oh yeah,
and how he protects her, and I mean, there's just so many character moments. And the first season, you're not a big fan of, but I actually enjoyed it watching it again.
it's not that I'm not a big fan of it. I think that it shows them. You can see them sharpening their teeth. You can see how 90s it is. You can see the budget. All of that stuff is very transparent, and they are trying really hard to make it as good as they can, but there are a lot of limitations on that first season.
But I will say, like, Prophecy Girl is actually one of my favorite episodes. Spoilers, Buffy dies in it. But, just the whole setup, and there's, oh, man. And when I'm getting older, things make me, like, choke me up that they never did when I was younger.
Yeah.
There's a part where Giles is talking to Angel, and he's talking about the prophecy, and the prophecy is if Buffy fights the Master, who's the oldest living vampire anyone's ever known, she will die. And she overhears it, and she starts laughing, then she starts crying, and she says, "Does it hurt when she dies?" I'm like, "It does, probably." And in just that moment where she's helpless and she's scared, and she walks away, and she's terrified, and she's not going to face the Master. But then when she rallies and she decides she is going to fight the Master, you just get all stoked for her. And when the Master bites her, but he doesn't kill her, and he drops her in water and she drowns, and Xander saves her life. And when the Master's up on thing, he's all excited because he got out of his entrapment, and then Buffy shows up, and he says, "It can't be, you're dead." And Buffy says, "I am dead, but damn, I look good." And it's like, yeah, and she fucking kills him. And then season 2 with Angel turning into Angelus, and so many great moments. And I just loved rediscovering that show. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check it out again soon.
You do, and like I said, I was telling you, one of my favorite moments is Angel, because he's he's a vampire that has a soul. It's a really long story, but anyways, he falls in love with Buffy, and Giles is talking to him in the stacks at the library, and he says, Giles says, "A vampire in love with a slayer, how wonderfully poetic." And Angel says, "Yeah, I spent 140 years brooding, living in the dark," and just how it's delivered is classic. So I think everybody should, besides my wife who doesn't like Buffy because she sucks, you should watch Buffy and enjoy it, because it is so many great moments. And when I was watching it, they had so many like hero shots of Buffy, meaning like is using a crane and is zooming in on her and swooping around, and just reminded me of Avengers.
You know what that show makes me think of? It makes me think that what really makes a good, strong female protagonist is her ever having dialogue. I just want to throw that out there. We'll get to it later.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I also saw with my beautiful wife What to Expect When You're Expecting.
Oh, really?
It is a delightful
the Anna
romantic
Kendrick movie.
Yeah, it's a delightful romantic comedy. You guys should definitely not go see this movie because the movie is fucking terrible, except there is 2 saving graces in this movie. No, it's not the you might think it'd be Anna Kendrick, but her story is not that good, unfortunately.
I really wanted to torture myself through that.
Elizabeth Banks and the guy who plays her husband are amazing in it.
Oh, yeah?
Because Elizabeth Banks, I think, is a great comedian.
Yeah.
And she has great timing, and I think she's really funny because she plays a character who can't get pregnant, but she has like a baby store, and she talks about how great it is to be pregnant, and her pregnant turns out to be really painful and hard, and so it's kind of cool. And she's really funny in it. And
what did Laura think?
Laura, what did you think of What to Expect When You're Expecting?
I was a little disappointed because they did make it, like most movies marketed towards women, overly sappy. But Elizabeth Banks was hilarious in it, and I don't know, I still liked it.
She would. But actually, Tom Lennon's in it, and he's Officer Dangle.
I love Tom Lennon.
Reno 911. And he's part of that man group, which isn't that funny, except for the kid's pretty funny in it, Chris Rock's kid. But the really funny part is, I forget the guy's name. His name's Joe something. He's in True Blood. He's like the really buff guy in True Blood.
Oh, yeah.
I forget it.
That annoying wolf boy, yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, Tom Lennon's character wants to be like his character so much, named Davis. So the whole time, like he always tries to get his high five while on this thing, and he just ignores him. And then one of the last shots in the movie, he's wearing the same clothes as the guy Davis guy, and then he gets a high five, and Tom Lennon's like face is priceless. So those are the 2 best parts of What to Expect When You're Expecting.
Wow. That's too bad.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
Oh, he's been over there brooding.
The movie
this
did not
is going to be so
deliver
good.
the goods.
Brad is so proud of himself.
Me and Laura also saw today Piranha 3DD.
No way. Is it in town?
No, we rented it on Dish Network on Video on Demand.
Oh, that's a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
We did because it was $5.
What?
So, whatever. And it was only worth $5.
No.
There are some really funny parts in it, like David Hasselhoff. Of course, the cool thing now is what Neil Patrick Harris did in Harold and Kumar is he plays himself, but not really himself. So David Hasselhoff's in it, playing not himself, but himself. So there's that part's really funny. Christopher Lloyd is really good in it for the 3 minutes he's in the movie.
Oh, man.
But the rest of the movie sucks. Like, the gore isn't that good. The piranhas attacking is that good because obviously they didn't have any money.
How's the 3DD?
Well, we couldn't see in 3D because I have a 2D TV. But there's lots of tits in it. But yeah, it sucks. I mean, my favorite part in the movie is David Hasselhoff was wearing a patch that said the Hoff Watch instead of Baywatch, so that's kind of funny. And he made fun of this stupid ginger kid. That's funny.
I don't think any of that's funny. I don't think I'll like that movie.
You won't.
That makes me
that's why
so
it was only
sad.
75 theaters.
Yeah,
It's the same. I mean, it's the same people who made the last one, and
yeah, it's it's
what happened?
It's not good. Lori, what do you think of it?
It was awful. It made me really sad because I was a huge, huge fan of the first one. And it almost to me seemed like they tried to make it really over the top like the last one was, but it was so forced and it just ended up not being funny or gross, which was the whole point, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost too meta. Does that make sense? Like,
Yes.
it's too aware of what it is.
Yeah.
Ving Rhames is in it briefly with the dude from the League. The dude who has like the space teeth. I forget his name. He's always like,
Paul Scheer.
yeah, Paul Scheer. He's in it. They're actually
Well,
that-
and Paul
their part-
Scheer- oh yeah,
pretty
that was-
funny. But
He died in the first one, I think, didn't he?
Ving Rhames,
No, Paul Scheer.
did he?
Yeah, he's the cameraman.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if
Probably.
he actually dies though.
But
I think
he
did he
does.
just die off camera? You know, like
Oh, die off camera.
like we saw him like fall in a pit of piranhas, but then
I think
he
you're right. Yeah, I thought
somehow
he did
escaped.
die, but
Yeah. So yeah, and then the movie was like an hour and 10 minutes long.
what?
But it had like a 15-minute like blooper reel at the end. So they just padded the movie.
wow.
It wasn't good.
That's so depressing. It's you know what it sounds like. It sounds like a pirate sequel or a Matrix sequel. We were
Yeah.
talking about this last night about how they think they know what's cool about that first movie, and then they
Don't.
they take that stuff to the next level and make that even bigger, and you end up going like, well, wait, you forgot about the stuff that we really liked. Like, what
I
happened?
did remember there is one part that actually did make me laugh out loud. Katrina Bowden, who plays, who's in Tucker and Dale, who's really cute in it. In this movie, she kind of plays this airhead. She goes skinny dipping, and a piranha swims up her vagina, and then she has sex with this one guy, and it bites his dick while he's fucking her. And anyways, so he has to cut off his dick, and they're in the hospital, and you see her next, and they said, "Oh my God, what happened to her?" She said, "I had sex with Jeff, and something bit him in my vagina, and he had to cut off his penis." That was her line. But she said she said it so matter of factly that it was actually kind of funny.
Oh man, you were telling that story is like, here, this is the thing I remember that was funny, and every word I just kept going, no, that's too far.
The build up wasn't leading up to, but how she just said the line was funny.
Yeah, exactly. Her delivery of a bad line.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But then the last thing I saw, and you guys can chime in for sure, is I saw Men in Black 3.
Did you now?
I did, and it's competing with Dark Shadows of the worst movie of the year.
I feel like you went into that expecting it to be bad.
No, because
Did you take my word and say, like, I go into every movie expecting it to be, wanting it to be good?
I went in there, remember Battleship, I'm like, you know what, I'll give this a fair shot. I like Battleship.
Yeah.
I'd say the same thing with Men in Black.
Good. Okay, all right.
Nothing redeeming about it at all?
Can I talk about it, Brad? Fuck! I let you talk for like the last 30 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. They're okay. So at the beginning, I didn't. The villain, what was his name? Boris the
animal.
The animal. Oh my God. Okay.
It's just Boris.
See, he laughed when you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the intro there is not great. Like that thing.
So
the reveal on the moon is cool, but that intro
part's
is
cool.
not great.
And then you're right. When I saw the font, I'm like, oh, cool, Men in Black.
The typography is still good.
And then we go to the movie, and refresh me. What happens at the beginning of the movie?
The things that you said would happen.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Was it. There were a couple of scenes where like he was flashy thinging people.
What struck me is because I listened to the podcast after I watched the movie because our podcast spoils things, and we make it clear that we do.
Yeah.
So I watched the movie and I listened to your podcast, and the one thing that I was really disappointed in with James, the storyteller, and James, the movie fan, is you said the pacing was really good. I thought the pacing was terrible in the movie.
Well,
because to me, the movie actually seemed like they wrote skits and then they put this overarching story to tie the little skits they put in the movie. Because everything was a setup, and then the whole time travel thing happened, and then
I think I said that I never felt that way about it. I think when I said that, and maybe I didn't make myself clear, what I really meant was that it keeps its momentum. Like it is always moving on to the next thing, and so I never felt like with Dark Shadows, it just lags and takes its time doing nothing, and I get so bored that when there's a scene in Men in Black that's not great, which there are scenes in that movie that are not great. In fact, I wouldn't say any of the scenes are really great, but when there's a scene that is bad, they move on pretty quickly. If you don't like the jokes about what he's saying after he flashy things somebody, it's 10 seconds and then it's gone.
The one thing I am surprised is how many times they said shit in the movie. I swear Will Smith said that a whole bunch.
I have to tell you this story because that movie came out when I was in the 5th grade, and Mick and RJ, who have been here for podcasts before, owned the book, and I remember us sitting together in a little huddle, flipping through that book and laughing every time they typed the word shit into the book because we thought it was so cool that people were writing swear words into a novel. Like you could do that. And so shit specifically is the word that we were always laughing at.
So, but and then I will say there's two parts I really did enjoy actually. I thought when he jumped off the Empire State Building and was time traveling, I loved that the background was the time was changing with him.
Yeah.
The farther he fell, the more it changed. I thought
it was
interesting.
It was a really cool visual.
That was interesting. I thought Josh Brolin was really good being Tommy Lee Jones.
It's just so impressive.
But the whole setup was just so ridiculous to me. The guy who could see in the future, I didn't mind his character. I thought it was cool when he saw, the different reality of the Mets winning the World Series when he's out there. I'm like, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But then Boris just happens to show up and just happens to take him off on a motorcycle.
Which we did talk about
Yeah,
that being
you
the
did.
worst scene in the movie.
He did. But then they kept on, telling you, Cape Canaveral, something happened in Cape Canaveral, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So you're going in and you're saying, maybe Agent J dies because maybe that's why he's so protective of him.
Right.
But that wouldn't make sense that Agent J was actually in the future. So I'm like, okay, that's not what happened. So they go and do their thing up on the
That's
rocket.
The launch pad, yeah.
And they get down and
At this point, very much spoilers for Men in Black, by the way.
yeah, they go through and that the army guy dies, and then the kid just happens to come out of the car, and it just happens to be Agent J. See, to me, that's terrible.
Yeah. I think that it's a shame the way they reveal that, but I think that the idea behind it, this idea that K has been watching over J and that's why he is this way around J is really cool. Like, you didn't feel like that?
No.
That
No,
brought
to me,
some weight to their characters?
No, to me, it just felt like, we have to tie this together somehow.
But it ties together really well. I think it
don't
did.
think so. I thought it was just melodramatic and whatever. And then, he said that he arrested him. How did he arrest Boris when he turned into that monster and leapt at him the first time? That would be more interesting to me than shooting him with a gun that made him explode. Because Boris, the monster, turned into a bunch of things.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
But, yeah, the whole movie was just not good.
You didn't like that scene where Boris talks to the hippies and the
No.
hippies start laughing and he opens his mouth and goes, ah, ha, 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 ha. You didn't like that?
No,
Ah, damn.
just couldn't get into it.
Well, still better than Dark Shadows. I don't know how you can say that.
I said it's
worse than
competing.
Dark
I didn't say
Shadows.
it was worse. It just nothing in that movie excited me. I was never excited in the movie.
Hey, that's what makes the world go round.
And why did he have to have chocolate milk again? And then they just decided that wasn't important anymore.
It was a
It's just an arbitrary fact of
Time travel.
Time
That's
travel,
stupid.
yeah.
well, no. It's just like in the first movie where when bugs get to Earth, they really like sugar water. Like it's the same kind of like it's this weird sci-fi where
But but then Agent O, Emma Thompson, just like, oh, you must have traveled through time. Dumb.
Well, yeah,
well, even Tommy Lee Jones has those moments where it's just like they know these things.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
it's
part
so
of being
stupid.
part of the
That-
agency
and-
that
yeah, but
collected that information.
that thing bothers me because it's just, to me, she's, I'm here for exposition, just like the character who could see different realities. I'm here for exposition.
And I admitted that character
And
is
so,
is
that's
there
because they,
to
could,
get them
they couldn't
to the
figure
end,
it
but-
out, and all they had was a bunch of scenes cobbled together, and then they decided they're going to make Agent J's dad be killed.
I don't know. I thought it was more fun.
And
than
that turned Tommy Lee Jones into a grumpy guy who puts cheddar on his pie.
Cheddar on pie is delicious. Have you guys ever had cheddar
No,
on pie?
I would
You
not
should
do that.
fucking try it.
Okay.
It's really good. Like melt some cheddar onto a warm piece of apple pie, and you like. It's amazing.
To
how
recap,
good it is.
watch Buffy. Don't go see Men in Black 2, 3, both of them.
Actually, yeah, don't see either of those. Well,
And
See
don't
Men in
see
Black 3
what
if
to
you want.
expect when you're expecting. Yep, that's it.
Cool.
That's what I watched.
Brad, what'd you watch this week?
Brad.
Why don't you go first?
Okay, sure thing. Brad's still not feeling well. For my David
It looks
Mamet,
great.
He does. He always looks great. For my David Mamet movie this week, I rewatched Ronin, which
That's David Mamet, I didn't even know.
well, here's the thing. It is. He is one of the two screenwriters on it. It's not his story, but he's one of the two screenwriters on it. Though he is credited as Richard Wise, but it's David Mamet. Though it really doesn't feel like Mamet, and I will probably take it out when I do my list of favorite David Mamet movies. This certainly won't be on it, and I might not even put it on the list as far as movies that I watch because it really doesn't feel like him. I didn't like it when I first saw it, and I don't like it now. There's some really cool stuff in it. It still has one of the best car chases of the last 20 years. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the characters are so shallow, I feel like, and there is so little as far as actual plot to hold on to
Yeah.
that there's not a lot of stakes, and
Yeah.
it's long.
Yeah, I think it's boring.
Yeah, it's over 2 hours long, and nothing is really happening. And it's really a shame because the actors are all great. There's some really interesting stuff going on, but if they had just cut out some of the middling character stuff that they have and added more plot, I think it would have been really cool. And there is never any great Mamet dialogue. There's a couple of lines that sort of feel like him, but I don't even remember them now because they are so few and far between. So don't see Ronin, and don't look for it on my list of favorite David Mamet movies. It's kind of disappointing because I was hoping that I would watch it again and really love it this time, but didn't happen. Brad, I watched Sherlock, all 3 episodes of Sherlock.
Excellent. Should we jump to the third one?
Yeah, I mean, spoilers for Sherlock if you haven't seen it. Well, we don't have to spoil it too much.
Wait. It's okay. Robert Downey Jr.'s not in this one. You can spoil it.
Yeah. And here's the thing.
Robert Downey's my Sherlock.
What we're going to talk about is stuff that you knew was going to happen in a Sherlock story, which is that at the end of season 2, he and Moriarty face off at the edge of something tall, and by the end of the scene, they are both dead.
Question mark?
Yeah, I mean, you know Sherlock's coming back, and the truth is, you can kind of see it. They make it a little obvious based on the fact that paramedics will run around the corner all of a sudden. But why? What did you think? Did you like that episode? I'm not actually crazy about their depiction of Moriarty.
I'm just so baffled by how that ended. Like,
yeah.
It's so out of left field. And it's so grounded in reality that I don't know how they explain, like, they rolled him over, it was him.
Yeah.
And I feel, I don't know, like, the only thing I can think of is, to explain it is cloning.
Here's what I will tell you. I really like Stephen Moffat. I do. And I think that Stephen Moffat's the guy who created this show, and he's the showrunner on Doctor Who right now. And I like his Doctor Who, except for when he is doing big overarching stories. The stuff that he wants to be really epic, I think always comes across as cheesy and melodramatic. I feel like he sort of missteps every time that he wants something to be really cool. River Song, for example, is the worst thing to ever happen to Doctor Who, for people who are watching. And that's how I feel about Moriarty. I don't think Moriarty is a very interesting character in this series. That first episode was great. That first episode with Irene Adler was fantastic, and what I wanted out of this season. And I really, looking back at this season, it's only 3 episodes, but comparing it to season 1, I think season 1 is a much stronger season. The second episode about the
How to the
Baskervilles is, I think, even weaker than the weakest of the season 1 episodes, which is also that middle episode. And in that finale, there's some cool stuff with Moriarty, but
like when he steals the crown jewels. That's a fun.
Yeah,
montage.
but it still never quite makes sense. Like, I don't know. Like, he's just not quite good enough.
There's a lot of stuff going on in the episode. That's what another thing was. Like, I'm so baffled because there's just so many threads to follow. And
yeah, it feels like it's going one direction and then decides to go another, and you don't really feel like you know why. It's just that he adds twists to make it twisty rather than make it interesting.
I already have a hard enough time keeping up with Sherlock because he's always explaining all the calculations he's making, and then all of a sudden it's like he has this personal crisis and trying to decide like what to do. Once Moriarty kills himself, and then like in order to save everyone else, it's just like whoa.
The plot twists don't feel like they do in a really well scripted movie, a Nolan movie or a David Fincher movie or something like that, where you feel like the villain's ultimate plan is being revealed to you as you go along. Like that it really is like once you see the whole plan, you realize, oh, that was actually a pretty good plan. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like writers trying to keep you on your toes and change things and make things that are cool. And I really think that is Stephen Moffat's weakest point. So it's a shame. I will still watch more of it, and I love those characters, and it's,
So, but how do you think Sherlock faked his death?
I'm not entirely sure. He's only jumping off of a 3rd-story building. They're gonna say that like he knew how to fall so that he only breaks his legs or something. And
goes slightly
but
unconscious.
the fact that he had paramedics already there, they're gonna say like, oh, he knew he's so smart that he knew ahead of time. But it's not interesting. It doesn't matter to me how he fakes his death because their excuse is just going to be, well, Sherlock's really smart.
Yeah, that's weak for me.
It would be more interesting if they did what they did in Sherlock Holmes: The Game of Shadows movie.
I thought you were going to say Game of Thrones. I'm like, what?
No. It would be more interesting if they did what they did in the Game of Shadows movie, the Robert Downey Jr. movie, where he dies, but we know he's not dead, and then he shows up, and it's a fun, quirky scene, and you're like, but he gets through it because he's Sherlock Holmes, and they don't have to talk about it.
Which is a true Sherlock Holmes story. I went back and I read the history of Sherlock Holmes. That actually is how it happened.
Well, yeah, because he killed off Sherlock Holmes because he hated that character.
He did.
And then brought him back because he needed a new boat. Yeah. Well, he needed to pay his rent, really. But yeah, I don't think it's great.
Movie, though.
I really would have. I would have rather they just come up with a cool mystery and let him keep writing mysteries. The one thing that it does do is it gets them back to a status quo, so that when he comes back, he won't be this famous detective. He'll be able to, this is one of the things they address in that episode, is that like he's famous now, he can't be a normal detective. But that's only true because they made that true. So I'm not in love with it. What I am in love with. Sorry, did you have something else to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, Russell pointed out to me that in the Hound of the Baskerville episodes, there was a bunch of lines between him and the doctor in the lab.
Yeah.
And talking about cloning, so that's why I think
I'd be
Sherlock somehow made I guess cloning can happen really quick, like gestation period, like creating an alternate version of yourself happens within a month or so.
Yeah, if you want to make up whatever shit you want, then yeah, it does.
And then he sent that to meet with Moriarty.
That seems really lame.
Yeah.
I would be very disappointed.
What's the only explanation I can think of that makes sense?
Yeah.
Other than just, he's really smart and he knows how to fake his death.
Either way, I think it's a disappointing character moment. The thing that I did really love this week, though, was...
I don't think that's going to help.
Punching yourself in the neck does not make your cough stop. Hatfields and McCoys, the History Channel miniseries that they did, which History Channel, as far as I know, has never done a scripted television show like
Kennedys.
this.
They had one called The Kennedys.
Really? I've never heard of this.
And, yeah, well, because it wasn't very accurate, I guess.
Oh.
And they got a lot of flack for it, so they weren't going to air it ever and just release it on DVD. Then it ended up showing on Reel's channel or Stars, I forget.
Huh.
But yeah, the Hatfield and McCoys is their second, big...
How many years ago was this? Just a couple?
Just maybe last year.
Oh, wow.
A year or two.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. But Hatfields and McCoys, starring Kevin Costner and Bill Paxton, and man, it's good. All 3 episodes aired this week, and about halfway through, I was going, "Why is this a miniseries? Like, I want to see this as a show." One of the things I think they do so amazingly well is that it's written in such a way that you never really feel like there is a scene where they sit down and they're making this choice of like, well, we could get revenge or we could let this go now. You always feel like they are just taking the next step, and it is just getting worse and worse and worse. And they do a good job of telling you the history, assuming that the history is accurate, which I will say is up in the air. I don't really know the story that well, which is part of why I was interested in seeing it. Assuming that the history is accurate, they do a great job of giving it to you in a way that is informative while still being really good drama. They don't make a point of the fact that basically, based on the way they tell you, none of it would have happened if not for the fact that one of the McCoys says that one of the Hatfields is having sex with his dog, and for that reason that Hatfield shoots that McCoy, and the whole thing spurns from that. But underlying it is also this whole idea that I think his name is Arnez Hatfield, ran away from the Civil War near the end of the Civil War, deserted from the Civil War when he knew that they were going to lose, and that's why the McCoys are mad at him. It's really great. The romance story in it is really interesting because it is a Romeo and Juliet story where Romeo is actually kind of a player and wants to have sex with other people too. It's really cool. People should check it out for sure.
Do you know who the director of that is?
No, I don't.
I forget his name, but he also directed Waterworld and Robin Hood.
Oh, no.
And I guess they had a huge, him and Kevin Costner had a huge falling out because about Kevin Costner's accent in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and editing.
He directed Count of Monte, Kevin Reynolds?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Reynolds.
Yeah.
Man, his Count of Monte Cristo is really good.
Yeah. And so they, but when this movie became available, I read this interview with Kevin Costner in Entertainment Weekly, and he said that he wanted them to kind of, we can make a good movie and, he wanted to work together with him.
Wow. Hey, he is also the screenwriter for the Red Dawn remake. But that's really cool. I really like his Crown of Monte Cristo.
Me too.
That makes it kind of makes sense why this is, because it's really well directed. It never feels like a History Channel reenactment, so that's good. And that's everything I've been watching.
Cool.
Brad, can you suffer through?
I don't know if I can get through this because I have
It's
like
our-
5 things.
It's our 1 year anniversary. Just keep them short. You can do this. The fans have
Okay.
faith in you.
My voice holds out. So the first thing I revisited was the Matrix sequels.
Oh, no way.
Watched them back to back.
Oh wow.
And I have to say they are better than I remembered, but not by much.
Did you actually enjoy them?
I guess my biggest complaint is the first movie had a question: what is the Matrix?
Mm-hmm.
And then the second movie doesn't have a question. It just tries to explain the fact that man and machine need to find out how to live together. There's no solution. Like neither side is going to win. They just have to learn to get along together. So that's like why there's no mystery. There's nothing interesting. It's
Yeah.
just all this philosophy and ideas spouted at you, and all these table conversation scenes, and then action in between
Right.
each of that. There's no Morpheus leads you through this mystery in the first one. It's exciting, and then the other one's just like you're reading a philosophy textbook, and
Yeah.
there's no what if there is one question, like what happens if the program crosses over into the real world, which is the agent thing or the Agent Smith thing, but all he ends up being is just this villain who never gets anywhere.
Yeah.
He just grows too big within himself and multiplies and has cool action scenes, but he has that one crossover into the one human character, but he gets dispatched pretty quickly.
I've always felt like those movies are very masturbatory because it's like they want to have it's a lot of action sequences. We have to fight these guys to get to this guy that we want to talk about, and it's them trying to make excuses to be a smart action movie. Like, look how cool our action is, and then look how smart we are, and then look how cool our action is, and neither of those things is actually very good.
I feel like when the Wachowskis got the budget for the second two, they're like, oh, we can finally make like our Star Wars. So they overloaded it with all these, machines and cool battle sequences and stuff they couldn't do with the first movie. And it was just like, it's so unnecessary.
Yeah, the philosophy in Matrix 1 is really cool because it's subtle and understated, which is the same word for there are two words for the same thing. But
the special effects, actually, I remember them being terrible, but actually a lot of them were actually pretty good, except for when he after Neo meets with the Oracle for the first time.
yeah,
In the second one, when it gets later on into the Agent Smith fight, the CG Neo comes out and you notice it. But
Yeah.
for a good chunk of that fight, it's actually pretty natural looking. And then the final one with Agent Smith, where he's flying between
The Burly
rooftops
Brawl.
like Superman, that gets kind of bad. But after he meets with the Merovingian, and they have that battle in the hallway, and then the LA freeway scene is pretty good, and Trinity busting through the power plant.
I don't remember those movies at all.
Yeah. So it's actually pretty good, but again, it's just the lack of mystery just kind of
yeah.
makes it not fun. And then I also saw Roger Rabbit Midnight
Nice.
Oh, cool!
last night, and that was fun. There was a scene missing from the print.
Wow,
Couple
really?
clips, and the audience, when Jessica Rabbit comes out and does her little thing, the actual audience kind of catcalled her, and
Oh, that's too cool.
Actually, Jessica Rabbit has one of my favorite lines in movies ever when she says, "I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way."
they cheered at that.
I love that line.
People love that line. Yeah, and that's a good movie that's got a good mystery to it. It's
Yeah.
not just
That movie's brilliant.
yeah.
I would
And I
love to
I love
see.
in it.
Yeah.
And I love when he comes in. And when I was a kid, I always was fascinated with the making of it. And, when Valiant is holding Roger underwater and the weasels come in, and my favorite weasel was the leading guy because he was always such a dick, and he says, "Step out of line, Valiant, and we'll hang you and your laundry out to dry." And he splashes the water. And when I was a kid in there showing how they made that, I'm like, oh, that's so cool how they did that. And so that scene, I always love that scene. And I just love the weasels, and he beats them up because he can't stop laughing because that kills him. I think that's so creative.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I should
Yeah.
watch that again.
And I think the special effects hold up.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
They should do more movies like that.
There's something kind of weird about that animated special effect that still, like, even when they use it, if you've ever seen The Shadow with Alec Baldwin, they use that cartoony drawn in special effects for stuff, and it holds up. If you watch it in high def, you can see the special effect, but like you can see them drawing in, but it still looks really cool. There was a very short-lived kind of
Yeah.
Style.
yeah.
Uh,
It's
then
not CG, but yeah.
Yeah. I also watched Troll Hunter, which is that low budget troll hunting movie
It's-
from.
oh
Norway.
man, that movie is
Norway.
awesome.
It's
So you've seen it, yeah.
Yeah,
Norway or
yeah.
Sweden?
We've
Norway?
talked about it on the
Norway.
show. Yeah,
We have talked about it before.
yeah.
Okay, well I'll pass then.
Well, but no. What did you think?
I think for the budget, it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Like it's pretty impressive.
there's some fun ideas in there. I think.
And the only thing is, the CGI still isn't that great. Like
No.
I was told like it's amazing given what they had.
No.
It is amazing given what they had, but it's also really obvious that they're CGI,
Yeah.
trolls. But it's cool that they're all the different kinds that they have and
Yeah.
the lore that is kind of
Yeah.
developed around it. Like some things that like I'm just familiar with like bridge trolls, but apparently they can grow alternate heads and
Yeah.
what else?
And the power lines are actually only in the
Yeah, they built
only
power
out there in
lines
the hills
loop,
to keep
yeah.
to fence off the trolls. Those aren't actual power lines and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And then like light turns them to stone, but they can
Yeah.
also explode.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're a certain type of troll. Yeah, and then that one kid gets scratched or something. What was that?
Yeah, I don't remember. You just watched it.
Yeah,
Somebody gets scratched and like there's a disease or something.
Oh yeah, they have rabies.
Yes.
That's the thing is that's why there's the problem is they
Right.
contracted. That's So, spoiler
Yeah.
alert.
Spoiler alert, they have
I
rabies.
also watched. Finally I watched the Dictator.
Oh, really? You got to go see it?
Yeah, today.
First of all,
And-
did you like Bruno or Borat?
I like Borat and I like Bruno. Yeah.
Okay. So how was The Dictator?
It is not quite as funny.
Oh.
Yeah, it's got probably 2 great jokes in it.
Ooh. So
Dur-
not by
dur-
not quite as funny, you mean really not funny.
I got to admit, I was kind of disappointed. Like, it's not terrible, but it's also just not as fresh and
I don't
as
know.
biting as a Borat, I guess.
To me, like I don't think 9/11 will ever be funny.
Yeah, I was trying to
So
sit there going like, I like subversive jokes, but somehow this is still not funny.
Yeah. Well, when
Wait,
3,000
is it
people
all-
die instantly, it's not that cool.
Is it actually 9/11 jokes or is it just sort of that
No, like
racial?
That's just a little bit of the.
I mean, there are definitely jokes like there's that one that what's his name gives in the trailer about like
When they're in
you
the
better visit the
helicopter.
Eiffel Tower before one of your friends blows it up.
Yeah,
like,
there's
jokes like that.
most of the jokes are like subjugation of women or
Always
So-
always a good time.
democracy and rights and stuff, and
Yeah.
just and murder. It's all over the map. I can't even
Yeah.
explain it all, especially with my voice. Like I don't want to go too much, but
So you wouldn't
There-
recommend it
it might be fun to watch on video.
if it comes on
might
if
be,
it comes on
yeah.
TV?
So he says not fun to watch. So you're saying if it were up at 2 a.m. and it's on TBS, then it wouldn't hurt to just sit there and watch it.
How's Anna Faris?
Oh yeah, she's funny, I guess, but I don't know, her character has like all these like she's an activist, but she also ends up falling for the dictator character who
Oh.
never really he changes a little bit, changes his ways by the end, but he still kind of slyly works his way around her policies. I don't know how to explain it.
Oh, you know what? You said Anna Faris. I forgot to tell you that before Emma Stone accepted her award tonight, they had all these people that worked with her tell, like, how do I describe Emma Stone? And it has Steve Carell, and it starts off that it's really sweet. But then all of a sudden it goes into how much of a bitch she is. And Steve Carell says, if I could describe Emma Stone in 2 words, it'd be asshole McAssholeson. It's freaking brilliant.
Oh man,
So yeah.
cool.
Also, the Matrix thing again. I also didn't buy the militaristic society that they developed in the
Zion.
In Zion,
Yeah.
I didn't.
I remember the name of the city.
I didn't
Nice.
believe that if that happened, like people would rally around like a structured, almost Star Trek military.
Oh, I see
or,
what you mean.
or
yeah.
Rebel Alliance force like that.
Oh, okay.
I think
Yeah.
it'd be a little more chaotic.
I guess
than
now
that.
you say that Star Wars. Yeah, I guess I can see that where it's like they got this big budget. Now we're gonna. Yeah.
Like there's that one
Yeah.
character Locke who's the Morpheus' rival.
Yeah.
Who's like
Mm-hmm.
every time someone has a plan, he's like, "Well, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
I'm not going to send a bunch of my guys out on their deaths, with that plan. Or I need both those ships. I can't afford to lose one." Like that
Yeah.
tired old cliche. Like, yeah, just
See, if they were better
and a
writers,
council of elders. Like, I don't.
if they were better writers, they would have revealed that he was actually a bloodbender, just like they did in The Legend of the Korra this week.
Yeah. What?
What?
I'm just saying, it was really cool, man. Oh, it was so cool.
Save it for your Legend of Korra podcast, James.
Oh my gosh, it was so cool.
Speaking of masturbatory, jeez.
Oh, it was so cool. Is that
That's
everything
for
you
me.
saw?
That is for me. Yeah.
Cool. Hey guys, guess what? We saw Snow White and the Huntsman this week. Brad, should people go see Snow White and the Huntsman?
If you like style over substance, absolutely.
Whoa, 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 whoa! James, should people go see Snow White and the Huntsman?
That was well phrased. I love what this movie wants to be. But unfortunately, it has fat in all of the wrong places and sabotages itself left and right. So no, if you just want to see it for the visual aspects, then I would say rent it at some point. But the truth is, by the end, and especially after I started, it's been a couple of days since we saw it. Having had a chance to actually think about it, no, straight up, I think that it fails at what it tries to do.
Yeah, I have a hard time with this movie because a part of me actually enjoyed the movie a lot,
Yeah,
but another part of me was like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's
I do.
so. Anyways, here's the trailer.
Well, before
okay,
we roll the trailer, because
Brad,
after
stop, stop, don't roll it yet. Okay, go.
after the trailer, we start getting into spoilers. So I do want to say, like, I enjoyed it as I was watching it, but what I found was that I was constantly giving it a little bit of leeway because I thought that the third act was going to be really good. I thought it was going to wrap everything up and really pull my heartstrings in the right way, but it just sort of drops everything. It picks up great themes and then just drops them.
I guess you should see it if you want to see a different take on Snow White.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like. I don't know. I'll talk about it and see how I feel.
If I watched it again, I feel like I would be really frustrated by it from the beginning.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyways, here's a trailer. Oh, go ahead and push it.
For real this time?
Yeah, go ahead.
You sure?
It's cool.
Okay.
Wait. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go.
Dude, we've been doing this for a year, and you keep on interrupting. Let him just push the fucking button.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Are we going?
Now.
Okay, it's now. Yeah. No. God. You screw it up when you laugh. All right.
Fuck.
My queen, yet another kingdom falls to your glory. Is there no end to your power?
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is fairest of them all?
You are the fairest, but there is another destined to surpass you.
What does she want from me?
Consume her heart, and you shall rule forever.
Find me someone who doesn't fear the dark forest to hunt her down.
Hey! If I refuse. Who are you? Why is the queen wants you dead?
You should know you're the one hunting me.
have eyes, huntsman, but you do not see. She is destined to end the darkness.
I should have killed her when she was a child. I need her heart beating with blood.
I've seen what she sees. I can kill her.
I will give this wretched world the queen it deserves. Lips red as blood, hair black as night. Bring me your heart, my dear, dear Snow White. Let them come.
Okay, good.
So the movie is, I mean, it's basically a darker telling of Snow White.
Yeah.
You kind of do have to know the story of Snow White.
Yeah. Because they won't tell you things like the apple
Yeah,
is poison and the only thing that
exactly.
breaks it is true love's first kiss.
Which actually, when we get to that, that's my favorite part of the movie.
It's actually one of my worst.
Really?
Least
anyways,
favorite parts
I feel
of
like
the movie.
if you don't know that stuff, this movie is really confusing.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But who doesn't know it?
People younger than us.
No. People younger than us are still watching Snow White.
And the
Because what
Seven
are they going to
Dwarfs?
do?
Only
what
when
are they
they
going to
get
do
it
in
every
second
10
grade?
years when Disney releases it.
Oh, snap. No, I think the most
But
people know that story.
There's a couple things that I will say about this movie. One, I think Charlize Theron was really good in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Brad
I mean,
Wilson.
she's hardcore chewing scenery,
Oh,
but
God.
in a way that is just I think
she
is
has to
great.
be, though.
Yeah,
I think she has to because the rest of it's so boring.
yeah. Like she's not given great villain dialogue, but stylistically, everything around her is so cool that I think she has to just show up and chew scenery in a way that is you can't not
feel like-
stare at her and just be fascinated.
I feel like clips from her performance in this movie are going to end up on the Hollywood Babylon overactors segment.
Oh, I think that would be unfair. I think she's doing what is required from her by the role.
Yeah.
And I will say too, while I don't believe Kristen Stewart as a warrior at all,
Yeah.
when she smiles, she's not that ugly.
No, when she smiles, she is very attractive, but
But
all of her
it's-
smiles end with this moment of doubt as if she didn't ask for permission first. And it's really, honestly, I want to be friends with her so that I can teach her that it's okay to be yourself.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Like, she is pouty through most of this movie, and it's kind of... and, as I referenced before, she doesn't have any dialogue, so you don't... I feel like I never get to know this character. I never really relate to her. I know the villain more than I know her, and I know her through the villain. That's it. She gets one speech at the end, and it's okay. Like, it's not a bad speech, but I don't see the way I don't believe her because I don't know. I don't see her relating to other people.
Yeah.
Basically, she just runs through the whole movie.
Yeah, and calling her the fairest of them all. I mean,
which I could forgive if she were interesting. This was the first thing that happened where I was like, "Oh no, you've misstepped here." Which is that this is supposed to be sort of this darker tale of Snow White, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she is locked up in the tower, and this dude comes up to get her so that the queen can eat her heart. And he comes in, and clearly he is gonna get all rapey on her, and you're like, "This is horrible." And we know that she's got this nail. And at this point, I am in this movie. I am there. I think this is going to be awesome. And I think she's going to turn around with that nail and just bury it in his neck. And as she holds his neck and he is bleeding to death, she's going to give him some speech about, like, "You have done a horrible thing here. Like, you have made me into this strong person who is going to fight you to the very last breath." Like, that is how great, because we've been told earlier in the narration, like, she has so much heart, she is this strong person, right? And I think I'm going to see that strong person, and she scratches him in the face and runs away, and he is then our villain for most of the movie. And I'm going, are you kidding me? Like, where is that strong person? Like, just because she's innocent doesn't mean that she can't defend herself and kill evil rapist douches.
You know what's funny is I was talking to our friend Sierra about this yesterday. And because I've been watching so much Buffy, I said, if Sarah Michelle Gellar was in that, this would be so much cooler.
Because Sarah
she
Michelle
would
Gellar
say
would have
something
stabbed,
and kill him. But yeah,
exactly.
no, I agree. Yeah, I mean that part was, because what I'm trying to say here. 1, 2. Why didn't she just kill her anyways? Because
Earlier
she
on,
did, because she didn't even. The mirror didn't reveal that she would stay young forever. I guess there must be a scene edited out where the mirror told her not to kill her until she comes of age.
I think maybe it's because when she's a little kid, she's not. She wouldn't be considered the fairest of them all, so that like whatever power she would have to make the queen immortal wouldn't be true until she is a grown woman and would actually be the fairest person of them all. One of my favorite actual like little character moments though is when at the wedding when she's walking and she sees that everybody's not quite looking at her and she realizes everybody is looking at Snow White right behind her, and just the look on Charlize Theron's face of like because that's the first moment where we see her hate Snow White. Like that was really cool, but then of course it never really goes anywhere from that.
No, I thought Chris Hemsworth was good in it.
But again, a sort of a shallow character.
No, he is. I think so too. The only reason you find out who he is by his, basically his narration and
yeah, that scene where like they catch him and they're like, "Your wife's dead, and we're gonna get her back for you."
Yeah. But I think he's a charming guy, anyways. Yeah. So you kind of root for him.
He does a good job with that role.
I think the dwarfs I really enjoyed because
holy shit,
amazing cast. Yeah. Ian McShane.
The marketing doesn't say Ian McShane, Nick Frost, Bob Hoskins.
Yeah, Bob Hoskins. That's right.
Eddie Marsan.
Every other British actor you love.
What's his name from Crystal Skull?
I forget. I know who you're talking about.
You mean John Hurt? John Hurt's not in that.
No. The
Mac,
the little guy. Well, they're all little. Anyways, but the parts of this movie I did enjoy was the fairy tale aspect of it. It was very much a fairy tale. I like the bridge troll, which the bridge was actually a troll.
Yeah, which it was cool, but that scene's too short.
Yeah, I agree.
And it ends with that was another problem of mine is that I thought the theme that they were setting up with the queen that like. Basically, she has this magic, but that the actual source of her magic is her beauty. So when she uses magic on something, she gets older, she gets less beautiful. And I thought that is so cool. Like here is this figure of a woman who all of her power in the world comes from how pretty she is, and sort of this idea of how fleeting that is. But the only way that theme makes sense is if it's a binary. If we see Snow White as getting her power from somewhere else, but we don't. At the end of that troll sequence, the troll sees Snow White, stares at her for a while, and leaves. And I'm like, was it because she's pretty? Was it because she doesn't get out there and she does scream at it, I guess, but it's not a very
yeah. But but I love that part because too when the dwarves took her into where they lived in that fairy tale area, I thought was really cool.
Oh yeah.
I just thought that because sometimes movies like that they might not be willing to take that jump into being a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Where they actually embraced it and
all the details are so well thought out. Yeah. Everything that
it's
you
beautiful.
see
I mean
is
the
cool
movie's
to
beautiful.
look at. Yeah. Oh man, like that. When the queen turns into birds, and then she comes back and she's been all beat up, and the birds just fly straight into the ground and just pop like birds flying into a clean glass window, and it's disturbing and gross. And then she crawls out of the bloody mess. Like that, just visually is so amazing. I want an awesome movie where that happens, but at that point, I am so bored by these characters that.
And then someone who has been locked in a tower for all of her life can suddenly don chainmail and armor and fight the queen one-on-one with a sword.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
She's had no sword training.
Well, she did. The one thing she was trained is how she killed the queen.
Well, if they if they swing at you from the upper right, then yes, you can block, and then
Yeah, I guess there's that one thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she can also ride a horse really well.
But she was, really well, too. You hinted on it earlier. Your least favorite part? My actual favorite part of the movie was after everyone knows the story of Snow White. She takes a bite of an apple. She falls into a sleep.
Yeah.
People think she's dead. Prince Charming, who I thought is actually the worst character in the movie.
I think he's badass, but he's very shallow.
Yeah.
Like his archery skills are cool. Like the way that's shot.
But not when Hawkeye's been in theaters this year.
Yeah.
But anyways.
I don't know. There's a scene where somebody shoots an arrow at him. He catches it. Then knocks another arrow and shoots 2 arrows back at them. Yeah, that is pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Prince Charming kisses her and it doesn't wake her up. But when the huntsman kisses her, she does wake up. And to me, when I was thinking about it and talking about it with Sierra, I don't think it's her true love. I think it's the person who believes in her the most. And that's what caused her to wake up. And I thought that.
That's an interesting way to look at it, because the reason I hate it is because I think that is a scene, because I actually enjoyed, you don't see much of it, but the little interplay between the young Snow White and the young Prince William, I thought was like, I saw their chemistry there. And in the scene that we have where Snow White kisses the Queen disguised as Prince William, I liked their chemistry there, even though I could kind of tell, like, oh, this isn't really him, but I still thought that he was playing it like he was Prince William, so I liked their chemistry there. So I believed in the two of them together, and that's why I think that the whole triangle is just messed. Like, they're trying to set up a love triangle, but it's just messed up. I felt like what they should have done was have the huntsman get to her first after she's dead, and just talk about how he loves her and how he's so sorry that she is dead, and that so that she could be the symbol for his dead wife. And then he kisses her, and she doesn't wake up. And then Prince William comes and kisses her, and he wakes up. And then we have this awesome moment where it's like, you realize that the huntsman loves her, but in her heart of hearts, she doesn't love him. She loves Prince William because they've been in love since they were kids. And that then at the end, he could sacrifice himself to save her. And then the name Snow White and the Huntsman has this beautiful, heartbreaking tone to it. That's what I expected that third act to be. And then it's not. What happens is she gets queen, and she doesn't choose a dude. We never see who she ends up with. There is no...
She doesn't need one, dude. Why do chicks always have to be defined by the male relationship they're in?
She's not defined by it, but I would like to know the end of the story.
Well, they need
in the same way that Buffy can be powerful and interesting and fun and still worry about her relationships and still like to go shopping. That's what Snow White needs to be.
I thought they were just saying that it wasn't necessarily it was just supposed to be true love's kiss, not so much true love for her. So the fact that the huntsman really loved his own wife, like it was that love within himself that woke.
I guess basically the same thing.
Yeah,
because he always said that he sees his wife in her and he believes in her, and he told her that the people will rally behind you because people believe in you too, like I believe in you. And she got him to quit drinking and being a better person and caring about her. And
I guess
so. To me, it was that he believed in her the most, and that's what broke the spell.
I would like to have seen a definitive answer on that. I would like there to have actually been some weight on that. I don't think that they convey that well enough for me to believe it.
Speaking of Buffy, I've seen season 2, and when she's about to kill Angel, I was like, "No, Buffy, don't do it!" And it still got me.
It's so good. It's so good, man.
That's a strong female character.
Well, no, you understand she still has to.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
I know
I was gonna say.
does, but
yeah.
Sarah Michelle Gellar breaks my heart when she cries like Allison Hannigan.
Allison Hannigan's way worse. When Allison Hannigan cries, it gets into my soul and eats a little bit of it.
So you know what we're seeing next week? Madagascar 3. Escape to Madagascar.
No, I'm not.
Move it.
No,
move it.
Yeah. No.
Like to move.
Please tell me.
Afro Circus.
Please tell me there's something better that we could see. Anything better.
Wait.
You want to go see Moonrise Kingdom?
Moonrise Kingdom,
Yeah,
that's
let's
right.
do that.
Moonrise Kingdom. We're going to see Moonrise Kingdom next week. It's a whimsical romp through the mind of Wes Anderson, starring Bruce Willis and Bill Murray.
I hate you guys.
It's going to be great. So next week, look forward to our review of Moonrise Kingdom.
I hate you guys so much.
Actually, next week we'll be seeing...
Well, you can actually look forward, because I got the Blu-ray of Alien, so you can look forward to my review of that, because I'll watch that this week.
Cool. But actually what we're seeing next week is Prometheus. Is the movie that James has been waiting for
all year.
James loves this movie so much that when there's a trailer for Prometheus in a theater, he plugs his ears and closes his eyes so he doesn't see that Michael Fassbender's dick is like flapping around in it and stuff. So
Yeah,
monster.
no.
Yeah, the xenomorph is. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I can't
Prometheus.
wait. My most anticipated movie of the summer.
A little quick note on Prometheus. I was watching the Rockies game today, and they had a new trailer for it that tied in Coors Light and Prometheus. It was really bizarre.
Were they drinking Coors Light on the Prometheus?
No, like the Prometheus would show like clips from the movie, and then it'd be like a slow turning Coors Light can, and it said Coors Light Prometheus. This summer's coolest. I forget what it was.
Coolest combination.
Yeah, something like that.
Get drunk and go see the movies. Yeah. Please don't do that. You will yell at the screen.
So I'm hoping that there's product placement for Coors Light on Prometheus.
Oh man!
Like Prometheus is like a stock car, and as it passes by like the sun, you see like a reflection of Coors Light on the side.
Well, and it's not. It's supposed to be set in the not too distant future.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be set in still the 20s. Or something, or 21s or something.
Or
like
the
that,
space jockey transforms into a silver bullet.
You've seen that commercial where the pint lifts off. Maybe that's how Prometheus launches into orbit.
It attaches to a Coors Light can with rockets.
So yeah, next week
that better not happen. I'll be so sad.
So thanks for listening to us for a year. If you have,
yeah.
We really appreciate it. We're excited.
Or even if this is your first one.
Yeah, we're excited. You can catch us live at Denver Comic Con June 15th, 16th, and 17th.
We're gonna have some swag, some competition.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Keep
swag
listening.
competition. Please listen to see how you can win free stuff from Real Nerds. You can also email us, realnerds@gmail.com. You can tweet us at real_nerds. You can also like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can visit our new website, realnerdspodcast.com. Oh, it's like we rehearsed that.
It is.
Thanks for everybody listening. Thanks, Brad, for editing the show and doing a great job. James, thank you for getting our stickers going. I couldn't do this without my friends. And thank everybody for listening. And I love my wife, and she's so beautiful sitting in front of me. Thanks for listening.
It's like you won an award.
I know, right? It's like I won the MTV Trailblazer Podcast Trailblazer Award. So thanks, everybody, and we look forward to...
No, Brian, thank you.
Oh, thank you, James. Many more years of watching movies together and bitching about them and loving them.
As I said back at Christmas, this is an excuse to watch movies every week.
And it's a great excuse. And getting me back into comic books. I mean, I'm always into comic books, but now that I'm really doing this stuff, I'm rediscovering my love for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Go read comics.
Read comics. Support it because comics are a good way for children to learn how to read, learn how to be artistic. I don't know what else to say. I'm getting all sentimental here, but I just want to say thanks to you guys. You guys have anything to say after a year of doing this?
I wish that Brad wasn't sick.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, what a dick. Way to ruin our fucking year anniversary show.
Oh, that's unfair. Oh.
No,
I want to see... I feel like if anything, in this next year, we should try to see, every now and then when there's a movie that we know is going to be bad, let's avoid it and see something that, maybe most people aren't seeing. I think we should commit ourselves to that.
That works. Hey, Brad, people can also call us. Why don't you tell us what the phone number is so people can call in?
I haven't memorized the actual numbers, but I know it's 720-6NERDS5.
Nice.
So whatever letters those numbers represent.
Whatever numbers those letters represent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Call that.
Yeah, call it and leave us a voicemail, and you'll hear yourself on our podcast. Please do. So again, thanks to everybody. Next week, I'm really looking forward to Prometheus. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah. Bye.
Bye.